says we're back on board with the circuit here at Myra. Here's the race leaders. Oh, there are all sorts of problems.
Oh, big carnage. Oh, straight to the barriers. And through the smoke we come.
What a crack! Oh, crack!
Welcome to Retro Motorsport, and it's an action-packed show this week, no doubt about it. First up, it's 2008. The place, Whitianga. The event, round 3 of the New Zealand Offshore Powerboat Championship.
Round 6 of the Cougar Marine Inex Metals New Zealand Offshore Powerboat Series was run in the most picturesque course of the series at Whitianga. It's a course that is great for competitors and spectators alike. You can line Buffalo Beach and watch all the action unfold in front of you. Unfortunately for the competitors, we had a rough one. We've been threatening to have a rough one right throughout the series, and at Whitianga, we got our wish. Looking to get back with that winning feeling is the Superboat champion, Peter Turner.
Today it's a little bit different than we've had. We've got a wee bit of the bit of ocean stuff coming in here with a bit of lift. Haven't really had that this year, apart from maybe Gulf Harbour in parts, but should give everyone a bit of a test today.
Also looking to relish the rough conditions, Pro Floors, Wayne Velder and Ross Christensen.
Well, we haven't had a very good season this season, so we thought we'd have a bit of fun today, and obviously with the hair and the glasses, and hopefully this will bring us a bit of good luck today.
There is actually some waves, which is good, whereas all the other races have been flat calm, so it's just come down to a drag race of the most top speed, which we haven't had as yet, but today there'll be a bit of skill in the driving and a bit more of the handling of the boats, which boats handle the rough water better, and probably more acceleration than top speed, so it is a bit different today.
Well, Wayne was obviously having a bad hair day. These guys weren't. The team from Cure Kids, Wayne Carson and Tony Coleman.
We've had more time in the boat now, a few races under our belt, so it's really been a case of getting a feel of the boat and working together, and we're a new team together, so it's just finding the way that we work together.
The first year was always to go out there and learn, and we've had a couple of good results now, the last one being a lot closer than we have been before with the other boats, so like Wayne said, it's just getting to know the boat and to know the new team, and yeah, so it's coming together.
Superboat Light was a battle of the family Smith. It was Grant in Addictive and Kelly in Ray Glass.
We've been very lucky. We've managed to finish every race so far, and in these big boats it really comes down to reliability, and so fingers crossed we can keep that record up and keep finishing. I think if we keep finishing we should be able to come out on top, which is obviously the aim of the game. It's so hard to tell right now what's going to go on out there. I mean, this weather can't make up its mind. We're going from winds and sort of blowing a gale to nothing, and then rain and then shine. Who knows what it's going to be like out there. Whitianga can usually be quite interesting with the swells. That's quite different to a lot of the other races we run. But we seemed to do all right in them last year, so hopefully as long as the boat keeps going we should be okay. We'd like a little bit of a chop or a swell. If it's too flat, I don't know if we've quite got the top end speed today. We've got a few things that are slowing us down a little bit, so we'd like to have a bit of something to slow the faster boats down so we can keep up there and have a real race.
We went out for a run earlier, and it's a lot rougher than it looks out there, so which suits our boat. So the swell's not as big as past years, but in terms of there's a bit of a chop on top of the swell, which makes for an interesting run.
Oh, it's going to be great out there. Just enough of a swell to make it interesting, so it'll be a great race, a good fast race. A little bit interesting. It'll be quite lumpy out by the island, so it should be good. We've had a few engine troubles over the last few races, so we're hoping for a little bit better luck today. If the motors keep going, we'll have a ball.
Adding to the international flavour of the Cougar Marine Inex Metals New Zealand Offshore Powerboat Series was a team of English runners in the Formula Honda. But as the Superboats and the Superboat Light teams got ready, all they were thinking about was the rough conditions. The only consolation being it's the same for everyone. The starting flare is up, centre island looks a picture, but what it doesn't show you is the conditions, although that shot does. This is Jeff Week, an exception to the rules, and already it looks like some problems there for Wizard, and that is Luke Richardson and Sorrel Stewart. The flag's standing straight up, so it is blowing onshore here on Buffalo Beach. You've got to be hardy if you're a spectator to watch offshore powerboating, certainly today. We get set for a start and they are lined up. It looks like a perfect start so far. Who's got the best run in these torrid conditions? It looks like Sleepyhead's going to lead them out. This is Peter Turner and Craig Archer. And look at the elevation, the lift they call it in powerboats. This is Pro Floors. Cure Kids is in there as well. There's one sad note about this round, and that's the fact that Fairview Windows and Doors hasn't been able to make the start, and it's for two reasons. One, Warren Lewis has taken quite sick before race, and the other one is Chris Hanley was to step in for Scott Lewis, but they had some problems. These guys aren't having any problems at all. Sleepyhead, the defending champions, Peter Turner and Craig Archer. You heard them say in the interview that vastly different conditions from what we've seen so far this season, and there's absolutely nothing in it in the 60-mile start as well. This is a battle at the front of the field, and it's the Sleepyhead, the new, versus Sleepyhead, the old. Pro Floors is the old Sleepyhead, and they're going to bow with Peter Turner and Craig Archer at the moment. Wayne Velder and Ross Christensen. Oh, and Sleepyhead has a major problem there, just about a broach. And there's nothing Pro Floors can do about it. This is how bad the conditions are, folks. You're looking at over 2.5 tons of boat flying through the air like a piece of paper. Look at the elevation that Pro Floors was getting. This is exception to the rules, and they would be leading the 60-milers after the first buoy, and they'd also be leading the classic class. Jeff Week at the controls. Jeff, of course, a refugee from Formula Honda from last season. And look at the Whitecaps on the water, and it's going to be even harder when they beat out towards Centre Island once again. There's Finance Point, Mark Diggleman. And I was talking to Mark before the Tauranga race, and he said to me that the boat doesn't really like the rough conditions, although they're doing a pretty good job of it at the moment. Well, look at this. Because of the conditions, you're seeing the Formula Honda boats running with the Super 60s and the Sport 60s boats. That is amazing. Oh, and Ray Glass, how close did they come to putting it upside down? Look at it on the replay. Oh, 70 degrees, I think, to the water for Kelly Smith and Travis Thompson. That'll get your attention, and it's slowed them. It's put them back into third place, or make it fourth, because I think Addictive is leading the Superboat Light class at the moment. Oh, and Family Boats have got a problem as well. Doosan handling the rough conditions perfectly at the moment. The rest of them struggling a wee bit, Family Boats and Ray Glass. This is the battle at the front of the field. Sleepyhead just rounding the mark. Well, they call it lift, as I said before, but it's a little bit more than lift. Peter Turner and Craig Archer, well, I've seen these conditions before. In fact, we saw it in Whitianga a couple of years ago, but this has certainly woken up the drivers and crews here today, because when we came to Buffalo Beach this morning, it was quite benign conditions. It wasn't a big sea swell up, and there wasn't much wind. That has changed in the couple of hours since we've been here. Cure Kids moves up into second place now, so maybe some problems. Oh, no, I spoke too soon. Pro Floors going for the front running, and we've heard from Race Radio that Pro Floors are quite handicapped here. They've lost their bilge pump, they've lost their electronics, and they've lost their inter-cabin communication, and that is going to be a huge handicap for them. Wayne Carson and Tony Coleman in Cure Kids, this brand new boat. Oh, and Wizard's got some problems as well, and I think that might be the end for Luke Richardson and Soren Stewart. This is the leader now in Superboat Lights, and as they come right back towards the beach, you can see the lift they're getting. Family Boats in second place now. Ray Glass haven't really recovered from that big moment just a half a lap ago. Andrew Flea Coolin and Carrie Gleeson with the boat he co-owns with Sam Fillmore. No Sam on duty today. There is the Smith family battle. Addictive going past Ray Glass. I've got to think that maybe Ray Glass has got a problem. Oh, and if Pro Floors keep doing that, they'll have a problem as well, because they are setting the altitude record here at Whitianga. This is round 6 of the Cougar Marine NX Metals New Zealand Offshore Powerboat Series in association with Peninsula Metal Supplies and Whitianga Ice. And what a scene we're seeing here. Bow-to-bow racing in the superboats. In championship contention, it doesn't mean anything because Pro Floors have had their problems, but for sheer spectacle, nothing beats this. And Pro Floors edging away now. And remember, we told you the handicap they're under. Building Solutions in the Formula Honda class. Michael Knight and Shannon Thickpenny look to be in the front of the 60-mile race overall at the moment. So that is an incredible job, and good for the Formula Honda Championships as well. So a great race for Michael Knight, having a fantastic season in the ex-Tony Coleman boat. This is the English pairing of Dave Cowley and Paul Berkshire. They're front runners in Formula Honda in England. And Lings.com, that is their sponsor back home. Here is Cougar Marine, Mikey Smith and Matt Hopkins. And this is the battle for second and third, not only in Formula Honda, but in the 60-mile race. Miss Electrapar, Mark and Bryce Helms, just getting ahead of the Englishmen. Or Bob Smith and Doosan, front runners in the Superboat Light class. And as I said before, Doosan just seems to be handling the conditions just a little bit better in the Superboat Light class. Here is Bob Smith and Mark Titini in family boats. This boat was cat attacked last year. This is Pro Floors. Now they're back in second place because while we've been watching the Superboat Lights, there's been a bit of development in the Superboat class because Doosan now leads. And how hard is Peter Turner and Craig Archer trying? They're chasing now back in third in Sleepyhead, the points leader in the Superboat class. But these guys are the leader on the racetrack, if you like. This is Cure Kids, and what a season it's been for Tony Coleman. A steep learning experience. Started off with Grant Velder sitting alongside him, then with the demise of placemakers, Wayne Carson took over the seat. Second in Tauranga at the previous round, and now leading here in the rough stuff of Whitianga. Around the mark they will come. We go back to the best of the Superboat Light boats. Doosan, Carrie Gleeson and Flea Coolin. Andrew Coolin sitting in for Sam Fillmore, the man that co-owns the boat with Carrie Gleeson, another brand new boat in the New Zealand offshore scene, and right in behind them, shadowing them all the way, is Bob Smith and Mark Titini in family boats. And we know that this boat is fast, and we also know that Mark Titini likes the rough conditions. Or Challenger's got all sorts of problems, and it looks like their race may be done. Terrible, terrible conditions, but great spectator viewing as they work their way back to the beach. Doosan getting everything out of the water. So hard on the pilots, so hard on the boats. But as I said before, a great spectacle. Doosan season coming good at the right end of the year. From here we'll go to Napier, big sea swells there, and then the final round will be in Auckland. There's problems here for Ray Glass, and what we're hearing from race radio is there is a problem with a hole in one of the hulls. And that's dropped them back into fourth place, and just ahead of them now is Addictive. Grant Smith and Dave Aldridge. And they're coming on. They were leading early on, then they had a big broach and they dropped back through the field. Now they're starting to come up towards the sharp end in Superboat Light. This is the story in the 60-mile race. This is Conica Minolta, this is Greg Brink and Eldon Archer. Now them, along with Marine Works and Spirit of Cheyenne, are the only sport boats in the top 10 of the 60-mile race. It's being dominated by the Formula Hondas. There is Spirit of Cheyenne. And this is Chris Aussie Neal in his twin big block powered fountain. And you can see that they're not the spirited chargers that we've seen in the previous round. They're certainly paying homage to the conditions here. This is a big boat to make it fly through the air. So I guess for them it becomes a battle of survival now for some of these classic boats, not used to the hammering that these purpose-built racecraft are getting. This is Pro Floors, this is Wayne Velder and Ross Fish Christensen, currently sitting in second place. Once again, they want to climb up into the sky with their helicopter. Fantastic pictures. Talking about getting lift, here is Cure Kids, Tony Coleman and Wayne Carson. Wayne Carson will be absolutely loving this. He likes a bit of a challenge. Sat alongside five-time national champion Richard Shores for many, many years. And now sitting alongside one of the newbies, Tony Coleman. And what a fantastic job Tony Coleman is doing in his first season in Superboats. He could win this race at Whitianga, and that would be an accomplishment in itself. Second last round in Tauranga. Maybe he's going to get the checkered flag here. Pro Floors. Wayne Velder, for the first time in many, many years, separated from his brother in the class. Oh, and this is Morel Motors by the look of it in the Formula Honda, and this is the Englishman in Lings.com. This is formerly Honda Marine, of course, the boat that Carl Thompson drives, being driven at the moment by Dave Cowley and Paul Berkshire from England. They're front runners in the competition. Miss Electrapar just crossing ahead of Cougar Marine, so it might be rough out there, but the Formula Hondas are as close as you want. Battle for the Miners, Mark and Bryce Helms, Michael Knight and Matt Hopkins. Here is Mike Perro Mortgages, Today being driven by Chris and Debbie Bartlett, the defending Honda champions. No Grant Garrity, suffered a big injury in Tauranga, ripped both collarbones off his sternum, so he's out. So it's the defending champions that are in. As we zoom in on Cougar Marine, Mikey Smith and Matt Hopkins second in the points to Building Solutions. We haven't seen Building Solutions for a while, so maybe they've struck some problems as well. The Englishmen seem to be at home in the terrible conditions here. But, oh, we've got a real problem. Well, we thought we lost them earlier on. This is Wizard Homes by the look of it. And we've lost them this time because half the boat's under the water. Luke Richardson and Soren Stewart. And Ray Glass certainly not going full speed. And as we told you before, there seems to be a problem with one of the hulls, a hole in one of the hulls. So they're maybe going to record their first DNF of the season. Meantime, it's good news for Father Grant and Addictive. They've put their engine worries behind them. They've also put Family Boats behind them for the moment. Bob Smith and Mark Titini in Family Boats, these 6-litre boats, as close as you like. Here is Doosan, Flea Coolin and Carrie Gleeson. Another combination in their first season in this racing. Grant Smith, of course, one of the veterans, past national champion, along with his regular co-pilot, Dave Aldridge. This is Cougar Marine. Now this is a battle for second and third, because just up the water a ways a little is the English pairing in Lings.com. There they are there. They're in second place at the moment. And as I said before, they're absolutely loving the conditions here. In Formula Honda in the UK, they use Cougar Marine boats. Here in New Zealand, we use Sonic hulls, but the same 150 horsepower engine. Miss Electripar currently in third place in Formula Honda, and outright in the 60-mile race, that is the Helms family, Bryce and Mark. This is the fountain of Chris Aussie Neal. Now, I think he would be the leading classic boat, no doubt about who is leading the race and the leading super boat. It's the boat on your screen. This is Tony Coleman and Wayne Carson. Sleepyhead just dropping away a little bit. Maybe they've got a slight problem. These guys just seem to get better and better as the race wears on, rocketing along Buffalo Beach now. They'll make the turn just by the harbour inlet. There is a limping Ray Glass, so Cure Kids are going to put a lap on them here in torrid conditions. Pro Floors in second place. Sleepyhead now 2 minutes behind Pro Floors. So maybe Peter Turner and Craig Archer have got a small problem in the National Championship boat. These guys, well, we've heard all about the problems, but it doesn't seem to be bothering them. Family Boats, Bob Smith and Mark Titini going at it bow to bow with Doosan Construction. Nothing in it in Superboat Light at the moment. Look at this. We said that the Superboat Lights have been close all season. Well, that is amazing. And it looks like it'll continue right down to the finish. Like I can tell you now that Ray Glass have decided that enough is enough. They've got a problem and they've pulled the pin, their first DNF of the season. And as I speak, I thought I saw Doosan slowing down there as well, so maybe a problem there for Carrie and also Flea and Doosan Construction. Well, the Honda class, Cougar starting to eat into the second placing of Lings.com, the Englishman out there. Pro Floors comfortably in second, but don't think they're going to get too much closer to Cure Kids. It's been a masterful display from Tony Coleman and Wayne Carson. It's been a fantastic display from these guys when you consider all the problems they're having. No intercom, no bilge pumps. They're carrying probably around about 400 pounds of excess water. Oh, and here is problems for Family Boats. We've seen this so often in the last 2 seasons. Poor old Bob Smith and Mark Titini, they spend more time outside the cockpit than they do racing. Doosan now in first. Now the big chance, can Addictive chase them down, because they're not too far behind, and it looks to me like Doosan have slowed. This brand new skater hull, co-owned by Carrie Gleeson and Sam Fillimore. Sam Fillimore normally sitting in the seat beside Carrie. This time it is Flea Coolin. Here is Cure Kids, and we can tell you Race Radio has told us because of the conditions the race has been shortened. It was meant to go 12 laps here in the rough and tough of Whitianga. It's been shortened to 8, and this time Cure Kids will get the checkered flag. So the conditions have beaten everybody. There's been plenty of DNFs. I'm sure they'll be talking about the stories long into the night here at the prize giving at Whitianga, but the checkered flag comes out, and Cure Kids, can you believe it, in their first season win for the first time. Cougar Marine will win the 60-miler, and yes, they have got in front of Lings.com, the Englishmen, David Cowley and Paul Berkshire. And this is the head-to-head battle with Doosan and Addictive. Doosan on the yellow boat in the centre of your screen, on the outside of them, just with the nose in front. That is Grant Smith and Dave Aldridge. And Aldridge and Smith are going to take it. Grant Smith will have the throttles pegged to the floor, and they will win the Superboat Light class. And I think you can see on Doosan, one of the cockpit latches not working, and maybe that's the reason they slowed in the latter parts of the race. Superboats, the win goes to Kids. First for Tony Coleman and Wayne Carson. Second is Pro Floors, and in third it is Sleepyhead. In the Superboat Lights, it's Grant Smith and Dave Aldridge ahead of Carrie Gleeson and Andrew Flee-Coolin. And in the 60-mile race, it's the Hondas to the fore. Cougar Marine get the money from Lings Marine and Miss Electrapar.
Again, it's 2008. This time, it's the Open BMWs and New Zealand sports cars at Pukekohe.
Well, welcome back to Pukekohe Park Raceway for this Historic Racing Club's very important weekend meeting. It's the Tasman Revival Cup Series, and a huge crowd are here to see the Radio Sport Open BMWs. It's a class that's only been going for a couple of years, and it goes from strength to strength. There's some amazing cars in this class, and you'll get to see a lot of them right here in this race.
We've got people from every walk of life. I think we've got something like 20 or more new people have actually started in motorsport in the BMW Series since it got started. So, you know, it's a great thing being able to bring new people into motorsport.
Well, this is the second race for the Radio Sport BMWs. You're on your board here with Conrad Timms sitting in the third row. Just up ahead of him, it is Mike Delmont in that wonderful World Touring Car Beamer. Two of those in the field this weekend. Warren Goods brought his one up from Dunedin as well. Conrad Timms just sitting back in the third row. Just up ahead of him it is Warren Good and also Mike Delmont, but the race leader is Andre Cowan as they head down into the Jenny and Home Sweeper and out to the S's for the first of 8 times. So it is the 325i out on the front. The M3 of Jim Wallace moves through into second place, number 177 I think it is. Then it would be Conrad Timms just in behind those brand new E46s. This huge field, 32 cars faced the starter today. There's a few E30s in there, but boy oh boy, the Radio Sport BMW Open class has really been a success. Only been going a couple of seasons, and it's brought some of these amazing cars out of the woodwork. In the front, Andre Cowan, second place at the moment. It is Jim Wallace, and then it is Conrad Timms. Conrad carrying our camera. You just get a glimpse of him just trying to get around those brand new E46s. He just can't find a way around them at the moment. A couple of 2002s out there, Peter Bromley and also Grant Clegg. They're down at about 15th or 16th spot as this big field makes its way around the hairpin and down towards Ford Mountain. Race leader, though, is already in and out of the Jenny and Home Sweeper and heading into the S's. Just curb hopping, just like the days when Craig Baird drove this car back in the Degree touring car days. International Motorsport looked after machine just going as well as it ever has. Well, it's pretty easy to spot the Kermit green car there, Peter Bromley, number 755. As we mentioned before, just up ahead of him, it is Grant Clegg in another 2002. So the order at the moment is 177 in second, that's Jim Wallace. There is Mike Delmont. Now he's just in behind Wallace at the moment. Then it's our camera car, that's Conrad Timms. But they are all chasing this man and they can't get near him at the moment. Well, we've got some localised yellows as they head down towards the Ford Mountain. Not too sure what that's all about. Not going to bother 777 too much, Gary Murphy. So Delmont through in third, then it's Timms, then it is Warren Good. Two of these cars imported as we're back on board here with Conrad Timms. Conrad Timms, of course, knows all about the car in front because for many, many years he was the spanner man on the car, the International Motorsport team. Or Lifestyle BMW, as it was known in those days. And Conrad's got his own race car there. It's Group A, M3. Just trying to make a move on Jim Wallace from Queensland, Australia, in a similar M3. Can he do it as they come into the braking area for the hairpin? Down through the sequential gearbox he goes. Has Has he made the pass? No, he hasn't. Wallace still ahead of him. This is a battle for second and third unfolding before your very eyes. Out in the front is this man. This is Andre Cowan, and he's led it from the flag fall, and he's lapping it around about the 66-second mark. But I can tell you in that last lap, Conrad Timms was just a little bit quicker, 65.26 for that last lap, and that makes him the fastest man on the racetrack at the moment. But can he do anything about the lead that Andre Cowan is starting to build here? Warren Glassford there in his deceptively quick Beamer. As we go back on board here with Conrad Timms. This time, can he make the pass stick on the Aussie? Down the long back straight here at Pukekohe, this 2.84 kilometre track, been the home of many fantastic dices. There's no dice for first, as you can see, because there's nothing but clear track behind Andre at the moment, but this battle for second and third isn't done with yet. Has Timms made the pass stick this time round, dives down to the apex of the hairpin. Up through the sequential gearbox now. And there is the outside shot of Conrad Timms. Up into second place quite comfortably now, so he's displaced Jim Wallace. Wallace goes back to third, then it's Delmont, then Steve Grillette, then Warren Good in the number 50, the E46. That's the second of those beautiful E46 cars out there. So as we said, there is the 777, and that is Gary Murphy. Now he's currently sitting back in about 8th place. Just up ahead of him it's Rick Michaels, but this is the race leader Andre Cowan, already starting to get into the lap traffic. Conrad Timms has got the headlights ablaze as he tries to work on the distance between himself and Andre Cowan. Maybe Cowan's just going to get slowed a little here by some slower cars, and that looks like the Mel Clark E30 as he goes through. The speed difference quite considerable. Some of these cars lapping at about the 117, 118 second mark, whereas the race leader going round in about 106s, so he's got to be careful about the closing speeds. It's like John Hudson in there and another 2002 as we have a look as the leaders start to thread their way through these lap cars now. Number 325 in the livery as it was in its heyday, sideways as you like as he comes out of the hairpin. Blue flags waving furiously to tell the drivers that there's a faster man coming, and he is coming with a bit of a rattle at the moment. He'll try and thread the needle here, just make as little time as possible, because I can tell you that Conrad Timms is starting to close up the gap behind him. And as Andre Cowan clears this bunch of cars, if we hold that shot long enough, you'll see Conrad Timms through in second place. So it's the 325i of Auckland's Andre Cowan out in the front. As I said, a championship contender. Here's the man in second place, working his way out onto the back straight once again through Castrol. Conrad Timms, for many, many years, well, still a very capable engineer, race engineer, working on any manner of exotica for Lyle Williamson's teams right throughout the ages. And how about the speed difference? I mentioned it. Well, there was a graphic example of it as they rocket down the back straight and into the braking area once again. Race leader in and out of the hairpin, just stuck in a group of E30s at the moment. Now, Andre Cowan's got the headlights ablaze as well, just letting everyone know that he's coming, and he's coming quickly. 1 lap to go for Andre Cowan. All he's got to do is keep the nose clean. Let's see where Conrad Timms is. There he is now, so he's definitely closed up the gap. But I think in Andre Cowan's favour, he's going to run out of lap traffic, and maybe Conrad Timms is going to start to encounter them now. In and out of Castrol for the last time for Andre Cowan. Second place man is Conrad Timms. In third, it's Australia's Jim Wallace. Here's the battle of the 2002s. Peter Bromley in the front. Looks like John Hudson through in second place as the race leader bears down on them. And here's Conrad Timms. Well, he's come like a, I don't know what, in the last lap, but he's certainly picked up the ground. But I don't think he's going to be close enough to make it effective, as it is Andre Cowan that comes down and over the Ford Mountain for the last time. He's going to win this one in the 325i.
And the second flag, here it goes.
Just putting Peter Bromley a lap down in second place, it will be Conrad Timms. And in third place, it will be Australia's Jim Wallace. Fourth place will go to Mike Delmont in those brand new E46s. And behind him, it's Stephen Grillette and Warren Good, also E46 mounted.
I got a great start, got out in front of the field, used my horsepower to my advantage down the back straight to begin with, and put a bit of a gap between me and the other cars, and basically just maintained that gap and just drove a clean race.
I got a good start. I think I moved up to picked up about one place off the start, and I got held up behind Mike and Warren Good for a couple of laps. By the time I got past them and Jim, Andre had got shot off in the distance. I tried pretty hard to catch him, but second was the best I could do today.
This is the third and final race for the Open Radio Sport BMWs, and it's a handicap affair, and away goes number 57, Ernst Fischbach, and also 97, Phil Josephs, two of the E30 competitors. There's Ernst out in the front, Joseph's back in second place. So Grant Clegg leading this bunch away, and Gareth Sampson in there as well in that beautiful blue and white E30. Oh, a bit of problem there for Grant Clegg as they go through the S's and out onto the racetrack. Mike Peterson right in behind them in the 535i from Paramahoe. So it's going to be a little bit harder this time for the likes of Andre Cowan and a few of the others to try and come through this field. Gary Murphy just getting away. Faster boys starting in the pit lane, of course. Just up ahead of him, it is car number 44. And that is Mark Scott in the Group A M3 out of Wellington. There's the first of the E46s, that's Warren Good. There's Mike Delmont, and well, taking evasive action there is Ernst Fischbach. He was the race leader as they came through. Number 30 there, Lloyd Briscoe, that's the son of Colin Briscoe. And Colin Briscoe really has got to be credited with certainly getting a fire lit under the backsides of some of the competitors, especially in the E30 class, because he was certainly a mover and shaker in that class, but that's his son Lloyd doing the driving in the 30 at the moment. So the race leader is still number 57, Ernst Fischbach. There's number 5 there, Mike Ashton. Mike, of course, normally seen with the two Mikes in the Mike Tubbs, Mike Ashton combination. And so good in the endurance races, so good in the Targas as well. This is the race leader. This is Ernst Fischbach, number 57. Behind him, Phil Josephs. This is the third group of guys from the back starting to come through them now. Number 177 there, we saw him take a fine third place in race number 2 for the BMWs, or the first race we've showed you today. And that is the Australian Jim Wallace. 52 coming through there, Warren Glassford. That car is very, very quick, but so is this one. Number 44, Mark Scott. Malcolm Abernathy out there in the coupe. They had problems in the previous race, didn't get to start, but he's out there in this one. There is Andre Cowan, and there is Conrad Timms, and there is Mike Delmont. So they've started from the very back, and they've got to try and cut their way through to the front of this field somehow. Once again, the 7 laps in this one. So racing just been shortened a little bit. It's been a busy program here at Pukekohe, and that's just going to make it harder for the top runners to try and get through from the very back to the front. 57 still in the front. It's Ernst Fischbach. Big mover coming through there, Mike Ashton in the little E30. Now these cars are virtually stock, so you can appreciate that the fast boys will be passing them very, very fast indeed. You've just got to look there at number 246, Dines McConnell in the M6 Beamer. And there is Gary Murphy, 770. He's one of the faster runners in this one. There's Dines McConnell. That's an amazing car. The M6 out of Tauranga. Most of these cars got some incredible history. Still number 57 at the front though, Ernst Fischbach. So number 755, and that is Peter Bromley just moving around on the outside. Just ahead of him it was Warren Glassford in the 320. So So they're having their own little personal battles here as we drift down further through the field to pick up some of these other amazing cars out there. Let's not lose sight of the fact that the race leader, and he's doing a stern job, it is Ernst Fischbach. There is Conrad Timms. Now, he was a fine second in race number 1 of the afternoon. Right in behind him, it's Mike Delmont. Then it's car number 48, and that's the Coupe. So you'd expect those guys to start to make their way a little bit closer to the front before this one's over. Don't know if they'll make it all the way. Don't know if they'll pass this man. He's doing a fantastic job at the front of this field at the moment in the little E30. He's lapping it around about the 118s. Fastest man on the racetrack at the moment is down on the 105s, 106s. So if the laps play out, maybe we'll see some of the quick boys starting to get towards the front of this field. But at the moment, it is all number 57, Ernst Fischbach. There he is. And he's out on his own. He's obviously been talking to the handicapper a bit here because he's got the dream start to this. Let's just see if we can find some of the faster boys for you, just cutting their way through this field. There is number 44, and he's one of the fast boys. That's Mark Scott in the Group A M3. Not too far away from him is 770. That's Gary Murphy. Oh, and there's a problem here for Jim Wallace, number 177. So he's pulled off onto the grass. No flags, so we continue to race. 28 starting to make his presence felt as well. That's Gareth Sampson. And they are starting to round up number 57, Ernst Fischbach, but they have got a little bit of work to do yet. Sampson leading the charge at the moment. There he is in second place, number 28. The 320i, the E30. Now there are our fast runners. There is Andre Cowan, and just in front of Andre it is Conrad Timms. And I think not far behind them, you just saw him getting a little bit sideways as he came through Castrol, and that was Mike Delmont in the E46. Well, he got a little bit more than a little sideways because he spun it round. The E46, the World Touring Car BMW, around it goes. And away it goes, and what a brilliant sound it has. Well, there's a traffic jam behind number 28 at the moment, and that is Gareth Sampson, and they're all trying to pull down number 57, Ernst Fischbach, and maybe his time is nearly up because rocketing around the outside of the E30s is Dines McConnell in the M6, so it looks like he'll move through into second place. There is Gary Murphy back in about 7th or 8th at the moment, so you can think that he will move up in this lap. So Dines McConnell is the danger man at the moment, and there he is as they come out of the kink on the back straight at Pukekohe Park. He's dropped Gareth Sampson like a bad habit, and he's dropped also Ernst Fischbach, and he's in the front. This beautiful BMW, looks like 44 through in second place now, and that's Mark Scott. Then we go back to Gareth Sampson. Then it would be Ernst Fischbach, but he's in danger of being swallowed up by Warren Good by the look of it. Oh, how sideways do you want to get as he comes down and takes the checkered flag this time round, and it's Dines McConnell. He's got the arm out of the window. He knows he's done enough. Well, another lap, and maybe Mark Scott might have had him, but he's got to be content with second, and in third place it is Gareth Sampson. Fourth place goes to Gary Murphy, and in fifth place it's Mike Peterson from Warren Good from Dunedin in sixth.
And I started, near the back of the field there, and I just had good brakes all the way through. I didn't get balked too much. Had to take some relative dangerous manoeuvres to get through, but it was all good. I have been racing a while, most probably 10 years, and I've had quite a few good wins in my other car. This is a new car to the track. It's tuned by Michael Stack in Tauranga. Does a great job. Yeah, so it's going like a rocket.
Well, the sports cars go from strength to strength this season, and there is a good field of them here, and away they go. And the best of them away looks to be number 747. That's Rob Holt in the Nemesis Sports car out of Auckland. Now, essentially, they run three classes here, and they're restricted to a 2-litre engine, except for the Super Sport class. And there they can run whatever engine they want to run. And if you've got a 2-litre engine and you run it with a supercharger or a turbocharger, well, that puts you in the Super Sport class as well. So we've got a mixture of road-going vehicles and purpose-built race cars, and there's some amazing little purpose-built race cars there. Have a look out there for number 12, sitting in fourth place at the moment, right up on the outside as they go through the hairpin. That's Mark Burney in the Radical Pro Sport Hayabusa-powered sports car. That's a motorcycle engine, Suzuki 1300cc engine, but it is 747 out in the front at the moment. And that's Rob Holt, and we've seen that before when we've covered sports car racing here at Pukekohe. Now these cars lap around about the, well, they're in the qualifying trim, they're around about the 60-second mark. And I tell you what, if you want bang for your buck, this is a class to get into, because for less than $50,000 you can be lapping Pukekohe Park Raceway, this 2.8 kilometre test, in around about the 1 minute mark. Now for less than $25,000 you can be lapping in around about the 63-second mark. So these cars aren't slow. Certainly the one at the front of the field lapping around here in around about the 62s in race trim. That's Don Shatford there in the Rad Sports creation out of Auckland. We've got Fraser's out there, we've got Chevron Sports, we've got Sakers, you name it. Back at the front still, Holm in first place. Sitting up in second place now should be Stephen Donegan by the look of it. He's starting to move up. So too Noel Woodford in the Caterham 7 sports car. It's him in the sort of open wheel version. 39 going through there is Craig Sawyer. That's in a Redline road sport car. Now that's built by Kevin Hunt out of Kumu. It's a completely New Zealand built car. Number 334, Andrew Hollywood in the BT Clubman Sprint out of Napier. So any second now we'll be seeing the faster boys coming through. Craig Alexander, the BDV Sports, one of the older sports cars out on the racetrack at the moment. Robert Holmes still holding off Donegan. There's Donegan through in second. Donegan in a Chevron, built by Evan Frey out of Auckland. So it really is an amazing class if you want to use that Kiwi ingenuity. You can build them yourself or you can import them, as has done Mark Burney, the Radical Pro Sport car number 12, sitting back in about fourth place now. You might just get a glimpse of it. There it is in fourth, just ahead of him. It is Donegan in second place, and then Woodford in third, I think it is at the moment. 747 continues to lead it though. Rob Hull, two getting a little bit closer. Donegan. This is the battle at the front of the field, and at the moment, I don't know, maybe my eyes are deceiving me, but I think that maybe Steve Donegan is starting to shut down Robert Holm here. They come in out of the hairpin. There's Gary O'Keefe, number 77. He's sitting in around about 13th place at the moment. He's one of the stalwarts of the sports car scene. Seen him many, many times here at Pukekohe Park Raceway in the Northern Sports Car Club meetings. Just ahead of him, 334, Andrew Hollywood. So there you see a graphic example of some of the different sports cars out there. 39, Craig Sawyer. Now I told you that Kevin Hunt builds those cars. Well, he's currently sitting in 8th place. And another one is Redline Sprint cars that he builds. As I said before, these cars limited to 2 litres, so there's plenty of Toyotas and Nissans and Mazdas, and in some cases Subarus out there. And of course, we mentioned before the motorcycle engines. 77 there, Gary O'Keefe in the unlimited class, or the class they call the Super Sport class. 371, Tom Good. Well, he's having some problems out there in his Seika Sprint, built out of Bruce Turnbull's engineering shop in Fielding. This is the action at the front of the field, though. It is still Robert Holm in the front. There is Stephen Donegan in second place, and now number 12, Mark Burney's got around the outside of the man in fourth place to move through into third now. So as the laps wind down here, just get the feeling that Robert Holm is certainly being stalked by Donegan, and I thought Donegan was a little bit closer the previous lap. There is the 344 of Andrew Hollywood. Now he's in 9th place and in danger of being lapped. Oh, there's a problem here for Donegan, and it looks like he's cut down a right rear, and that's going to allow Burney to go up ahead of him, or has he? Well, I might have spoken too soon. It might have been a body rub. Race leader continues to be number 747, Robert Holm. There's Donegan. I thought there was something flapping on the back of the car, the right rear. Maybe my eyes were deceiving me as they come across the line this time round. This would probably be the last lap, I would think, and there is absolutely nothing in this now because Mark Burney has hit his straps. That's him in third place. The Radical Pro Sport Hayabusa powered car sitting in third place. Still though, Holm leads it, the Nemesis Sports. There is Donegan, there is Burney, and in behind him I think it's Hugh Allen in the Seika. So now there's a change for second as well because Mark Burney's got up ahead of Donegan. Donegan's certainly got a problem under brakes. You can see the smoke streaming from the back of the car. And that has brought Hugh Allen into contention as well in the Seika Sprint out of Fielding. But at the moment it is this man heading up over Ford Mountain once again. Robert Holm in the front. Second place man, Mark Burney. We go back down through the field. There is O'Keefe just in behind him, one of the Frasers in the field. Meantime, at the front, Just taking a fair old pounding from the bumps here as they head down into the Jenny and home sweeper once again. And, well, it looks like number 39 is going to play a part in this. This is Craig Sawyer in the Red Line Road Sport car out of Taupo. He's going to move over it and let the leaders go through. He's done that now, so Holm goes through, but not before the rest of them close him down. So Bernie gets a little bit closer now, watching for the leaders to pick their way up into the hairpin here. Right in amongst the traffic. Oh, someone's had the big lock-up. Now, is that one of the leaders' cars? I don't know that it was. Oh, it might have been. So there's all sorts of problems here. Domigan shoots off the racetrack. Hugh Allen gets a little bit closer. That's the battle for third and fourth. They cut their way through, and now it's Bernie that's gone up the inside and into the front. Well, he saved his pass till the right time on the racetrack. Up over the Ford Mountain they come now. Bernie in the front, Holm in second place. Domigan's off the track. Oh, and Domigan hits one of the lap cars by the look of it. Isn't going to affect the overall result, but drama aplenty in the closing stages of this one. Here it is on the replay. It's Holm that goes off the track. Now watch Domigan. Well, to be fair, the other car came over. So Mark Burney wins an incident-packed ending here to the sports cars. Rob Holm is second, Steve Domigan third, Hugh Allen is fourth in the Seika. Then it was Michael Clark and Colin Grant out of Napier is sixth.
There's more motor racing to come later with the Formula 5000s from Taupo. But up next, it's back on the water with Formula Honda from Maraetai.
Welcome to the Pukekohe coast, and more importantly, welcome to Maraetai for round 3 of the Cougar Marine NX Metals New Zealand Offshore Powerboat Series, and more importantly still to round 3 of the Formula Hondas. In the past 2 rounds, we've had 2 different winners. Who'll be on the top step today?
It's dead flat today, stark contrast to yesterday when the race was scheduled for. No ballast, just hang it all out, maximum trim, you know, flat to the boards, and I've been cornering, good start, and yeah, a bit of element of luck, I think, with the traffic that's out there. There's a lot of jockeying goes on the milling area. Everybody's got their own theories on where's the best spot to be at the start. You line yourself up there for the start chute, and the run from the milling area into the down the start chute into the first buoy. It's a bit hair-raising, but yeah, it's important. Boy, I'll tell you what, there's some hot competition this year. There's a couple of guys. Bryce's elder brother Mike and his crew Shannon and Building Solutions have given everybody a bit of a wake up this season, and of course there's Grant Garrity and Mikey Smith. Yeah, we're sort of in the group, in the top group, but boy, it's tough.
Second at round 2, but looking to go one better, Grant Garrity.
We'll be trimmed out, probably no ballast, and we'll just be trying to just not lose any speed in the corners. Be really fast cornerings, and they've made these corners quite sweeping today, so it's quite a good thing for us anyway. It's pretty calm out there, so it'll be a hard out drag race, so we're hoping to be in the bunch at the front.
Well, this is the start of round 3 of the Formula Hondas. 60-mile boats just heading them into the first turn. So once again, we've used a split start here at Maraetai, round 3 of the Cougar Marine NX Metals New Zealand Offshore Powerboat Series. The superboats and the superboat lights in the 100-mile race coming from a slightly different tack into the first turn. And, well, this is a bit of a turn-up because this is Light Industries. This is Mike Urquhart and Darren Wood out in front. And look at the stream of Hondas in behind. They are so close, and that is the hallmark, if you like, of Honda racing. This is H3. This is a great start for Team Altitude, or Team For Sale now. Tony Todd and Richard Hyde from Rotorua. CRD Automotive, the Dunn's father and son combination. But it is Light Industry, the champion 2 seasons ago, with Mike Urquhart and Chris Bartlett back in those days. Well, now it's Mike Urquhart and Darren Wood. They would be leading in this early stages of the race. There is Mark Helms in Miss Electropart, and also Honda Marine in there as well. So 2 close to call at the moment. Round 1 winner, this is Mikey Smith and Matty Hopkins in Cougar Marine. And this is our race leader, and this is back to base 6, and this is the Powells, Glenn and Chris Powell out of Hamilton. Raced last year under the Hydrolink colours. But another full season under the belt now. They've got all the experience in the world, know how to get the very best out of these 19-foot Sonic hulls with 150 horsepower, double overhead cam, VTEC Honda engine sitting in the back. Look at Darren Wood there just looking behind, see where their opposition is. You know, people say that the course is dead flat. Well, those pictures certainly make a lie out of that statement. It's not flat at all, as some real problems there for Light Industries. This is Cougar Marine. Been running in that pack with Mike Perro Mortgages and also Team Altitude. Won the first round, the first win ever for Mikey Smith. One of the veterans now of Formula Honda. Started at the very beginning in Bad Boys along with his sister Kelly. Kelly, of course, now moved up to Superboat Lights. Mikey continues to run in Formula Hondas and run at the sharp end of the field, you'd have to say. Doing a great job in the conditions here at Maraetai. We should mention that this race is held over from yesterday. The conditions on Saturday was just too bad, and the officials decided to pull the pin as Altitude goes through, and they make hard work of it as well. You heard Mark Helm saying they wouldn't be running any ballast today. And the ballast is sometimes what keeps the boats flat on the water, and you can see for yourself that Altitude there in a world of problem at the moment. Tony Todd and Richard Hyde. Tony out of Rotorua, first season in the boat. This is the boat that Jeff Week and Jackie McGowan campaigned last year. It's in fact for sale. Then it's Mark and Logan Morrell out of Taupo in Morrell Motors, H6. Great head-on shot from a helicopter. You can see just the propellers in the boat sticking in the water. Fourth place at the moment is Honda Marine. This is Carl Thompson and Rob Glenn out of Auckland. Now there's been a Thompson in a Formula Honda right from the get-go as well. Travis and Carl teamed up originally. Dad's had a go in it. Barry as well. And this is the battle for the minors at the moment. Cougar Marine and Morrell Motors running for 5th and 6th as they come round the top mark and head down along the shoreline here at Maraetai past this big fleet of spectator boats. These boats top out around about 60 miles an hour. But the beauty of the Formula Hondas is they're multi-taskers, if you like, because you can use them for skiing, you can go fishing in them, you can do whatever you like. These guys, well, they just want to race and race them hard. This is Light Industries. Mike Urquhart and Darren Wood. You see just how close they come into the shore as they head down towards the Maraetai Boat Club. A big thank you to Manukau City Council, the Pro Floors and to Placemakers Pakuranga for putting this event on for us. Everyone that's ever driven one of these boats said it is so exhilarating to do so, and you got the graphic example there as we go back and have a look for Grant Garrity. And Mike Perro Mortgages, a fine second place in round number 2. Was a bit disappointed with his performance in round 1, but more than making up for it here. Currently sitting up in the top 5. Oh, Altitude just dropping back a little bit now, just in front of CRD Automotive. And that is Colin and Zane Dunn from Langholm up there in the west of Auckland. It only takes just a slight miscue, maybe a wrong turning point on the buoy, maybe a bit of a broach, and that's certainly going to make you change position in this very closely fought field. Something like 13 boats faced the starter today. Now, I've been hearing that back to base 6 have had a little bit of a problem out on the course, and their race radio tells us now that they've been going the wrong way around the buoy. So that's bad luck for the pals, Chris and Glenn out of Hamilton, because the result is that they have now been disqualified. So all that hard work for nothing. And there are the superboats just going around them. This is Miss Electropart. This is Mark Helms. And his youngest son, Bryce. Michael Knight was driving with Mark last year. Of course, he's out on his own boat now, Building Solutions. They won the previous round at Gulf Harbour, got second in Taupo, so they'd be leading the points at the moment. This is Mike Perro Mortgages once again. Now, normally it's Grant and Cynthia Garrity, but I see that Cynthia not driving as the navigator this time round. Grant's got his young son there. And we zoom in here on Altitude. They're not doing a bad job at the moment, currently sitting in around about 6th or 7th place. Oh, and just making hard work of it there is Morrell Motors. as exception to the rules goes past, and that's another thing that the Formula Honda guys have got to contend with as well. We've got to contend with the huge speed difference between the superboats, the superboat lights, and even some of the classic boats, because they top out around about 80 miles an hour. The superboats up over 100 miles an hour. These guys 60. So CRD Automotive got up in front of Altitude now, so that position has changed. They've moved up into 7th, Altitude back into 8th. Some great on-the-water pictures here. Here is the Gambler. Now, this started it all for the Smith family. And this is Kevin Smith and Simon Gard from Palmerston North. And yes, there is a relationship between Kelly and Mikey and Grant and all the other Smiths. This is Grant's brother. We zoom in from our helicopter on H17. This is Morrell Motors, Mark and Logan Morrell. They're veterans of Formula Hondas, as is this man, Light Industries, Mike Urquhart and Darren Wood. You see Darren just looking down there. I'm not too sure what the problem is at the moment. And they've got themselves quite a lead. Light Industries, as I said, the champion this boat 2 seasons ago, when Mike was teamed with Chris Bartlett. Well, last year Chris teamed with his wife Debbie and they won the Formula Honda title. And of course Greg Brink, that won the inaugural series, has moved on to the Super 60s class. To easily distinguish the Honda boats by the big ski pole on the back of them and that big silver engine, that Honda engine, 5 years guaranteed under racing conditions. So this is Mike Perro Mortgage's Grant and his son, not Cynthia Garrity, at the Navigator's position this time round out of Havelock North, ex-jet sprinter. Really putting together a good campaign this season. As I said, a little bit disappointed with his round at Taupo. Cougar Marine there, Mike Smith and Matty Hopkins. Once again, you see Sleepyhead just rocketing past them. So this is going to make a difference to the championship table as well, because for the first time we've seen Mike and Darren in Light Industries show out. Building Solutions, there's CRD Automotive, and that is Colin and Zane Dunn out of Langholm. Now they're currently sitting in 7th place, so that's a good result for them. Probably their one of their best results they've had this season so far. This is only round 3, of course. They've got plenty more rounds to go, and it's all about a championship, certainly at the sharp end of the field. Now this is Altitude, back in 8th place now. Tony Todd and Richard Hyde. As we said, the boat for sale. Then behind them, Kevin Smith and Simon Gard out of Palmerston North and the Gambler. This is the boat that Kelly Smith drove in the first series of Formula Honda. And these guys, well, they're making it look easy, and they've done that before, because 2 seasons ago they were the boat to beat, and they really didn't work themselves too hard. I was talking to Mike Urquhart, and he told me that they wouldn't be pushing it hard when it's rough. They'd be going hard when they could, and they certainly can today, because it's not that rough at the moment. Honda Marine in 2nd place, Carl Thompson and Rob Glenn out of Auckland. So the North Shore is represented. Whangaparoa for Mike Urquhart. Mike Perro Mortgage is through in 3rd place now by the look of it. So have they got up ahead of Michael Knight and Shannon Thickpenny in Building Solutions? We'll keep an eye on that for you. Really does come down to getting a good start in these boats. They are so evenly matched. And of course driver ability and well, I guess the combination between driver and co-driver make a difference as well. So this is the race leaders, and they're heading towards the checkered flag now. Light Industries, Mike Urquhart and Darren Wood. They will come across the finish line in front of the big crowd here at Maraetai and win round 3.
I just prefer driving in the rough, but that was getting there a little bit, yeah. So I was quite surprised, actually. I thought Cougar Marine, Building Solutions, or even Mike Perro Mortgages would have been right behind me, and Mark Helms and Electrocar, but no, I just had them to go really well. I can't wait to Wellington, because hopefully it'll be rough this time. So, yeah, I just want to find out who's going to be in the boat, because my brother wants to get back in, but because we won with Woodsy, with Darren Woods, he wants to be in, so we've got a problem there.
So in 2nd place it will be Honda Marine, Carl Thompson and Rob Glenn.
It was not too rough, not too flat. It was good and challenging, and we had a really good race.
Lighting Industries, we were managing to catch them every couple of laps. Cougar Marine, they were in behind us at the start, and Mark Helms, that was a good misselection, that was a good battle with him.
So there are the results. Mike Urquhart and Darren Wood take the win from Carl Thompson and Rob Glenn. Third place will be the points leaders. That's Michael Knight and Shannon Thickpenny. And in fourth, it is Grant Garrity. Fifth place, Michael Smith and Matty Hopkins. And in sixth, Mark and Logan Morrell. That's how they finished in round 3 of Formula Honda.
We told you it was a busy show. Next, let's stay with 2008. Seems to be our favourite year this week. And let's head to Taupo for the thundering Formula 5000s.
This is round 4 of the MSC Formula 5000 Tasman Cup Revival Series, and it's what the big crowd have come to Taupo to see. A good support program, but everyone wants to see these V8 monsters roar. One of the new boys here is Aaron Burson, having his first time on the Taupo circuit.
They're quite easy to drive to probably 8/10 of their potential. After that, you've got to be really on your game. And yeah, it's as simple as that. With all the weight at the back, the inertia, she can spin on you real easy. They're an amazing car for their age. And as the lap times that we've done, well, Chris and Kenny have done, proved that, they're still one of the quickest cars around.
I don't come in and get cheesed off if I don't win. As long as I'm up there having a real battle, it's just like on a massive high when you get out of a car. And I haven't been like that for years. I mean, after the Mansfield one, it was just the glory I had in the 70s. And I have never had that since driving a car, and now I'm back in these again. It's you get out and you think, oh, this is so magic driving this thing.
I don't think anybody would have thought that New Zealand would have been able to field 22 cars, and of the calibre of what they are too. It's just amazing. All of our clients have done a lot of Formula Ford, getting them up to speed, and it is just like driving a Formula Ford on steroids. That's what it is. They've got more power, they've got more brakes, but they don't really do anything too much different. And you just have to get on with turning the car and getting on the throttle. And if you can get on the throttle, it'll go fast. There's no doubt about it.
Well, we started the series at the Mansfield Auto Course, and that was back in November. Here we are, round 4, Taupo, and it's all about 2 men as we leap on board here with Stan Redmond in the Lola T332. But the 2 men I was talking about are the men at the front of this field, and that is the amazing Ken Smith and the equally amazing Chris Hyde. And they've been knocking wheels and rubbing all throughout this 4-round series. And what it's done is it's stepped up the attitudes and the driving ability of the guys behind them. And it is Smith in the front in the Lola T430. Rest of the field coming through now. Visitors, of course, from Australia and the United Kingdom here. But it is the master, Kenny Smith. He won the New Zealand Grand Prix in one of these cars. And he is in front at the moment of the fastest man on the racetrack. If you go to the qualifying sheets, and that's Chris Hyde in the Imagine Racing McRae GM1. Third place, it looks like number 88. And that is the ex-Ian Clements car now being driven by Napier's Sefton Gibb. But it's King Kenny at the front. A lot of work done on this car to try and make it as competitive as possible. Here is car number 51. And this is Aaron Burson's father. This is Peter Burson. Another GM1 McRae. Great to have Graham McRae here, but we go back to the front of the field as they come into this turn 13 and 14 complex. It is Smith in the front. They started alongside each other with a rolling start, but it was Smithy got into turn 1 first, and for the moment anyway, Chris Hyde has got to be content to follow. Down into turn 1 they go now. These cars in their heyday in the 70s. Well, perhaps they're in their heydays now because there's something like 18 or 19 of them here. And as I said before, a big crowd watching them. Smith in front, Hyde in second place, then it'd be Sefton Gibb third. We're back on board here with Stan Redmond as Stan the man hits the grass as they head up through turn 5 and 6. And he does it again, so he's obviously got a problem. Right into the gravel trap goes Stan Redmond, the Lola T332, the Magnum wheels, painted car, and can you believe it, he's going to get it out of the gravel, out onto the grass, and he's going to regain the racetrack just in front of Peter Burson. Meantime, at the front of the field, it's still the veteran celebrating 50 years of continuous motorsport here in New Zealand. Ken Smith in the front. This is a sweeper at the far end of the circuit. Now they get to stretch the legs of these stock block Formula 5000s. And Tim Rush goes round. Tim, just brand new to 5000s, came out of sports car racing as we go back to the front of the field. And this time, Hyde a little bit closer. So it is Lola T430, one of two cars that David Abbott owns. He's loaned this car to Kenny Smith, and right in behind him the New Zealand designed GM1 McRae of Chris Hyde. Chris Hyde is the points leader, and he's been the benchmark of the series so far. In fact, he's only been beaten once legitimately, and that it was at Pukekohe at the third round, and that was by Roger Williams. Now, unfortunately, Roger's not here today. Hear those stock block Chevys roar as they work their way through turns 5 and 6 here at Taupo. So they've cleared out now from Sefton Gibb, but it's still Gibb in third place. They're not thinking it'd be Christchurch's Tony Richards through in fourth. This is car number 3. This is the sister car to the one Ken Smith's driving. This is David Abbott as we go back to the front of the field now. Now, I'm just wondering if the tyres are not yet up to temperature, and maybe that's why Chris Hyde is waiting behind the Devil May Care Ken Smith. Smith in command here. Round the sweeper at the top end of the circuit here at the Taupo Motorsport Park, 3.5 kilometres around. Battles within battles here. Alistair Russell in the ex-Roger Williams GM1. Right in behind him, David Abbott. Then in behind him, it looks like it's Frank Lyons out of the UK. And the Lola T400. Oh, and look at this. Hyde just muscles out Kenny Smith as they work their way into the complex through turns 11, 12 and 13. Now down through the pit straight. And as they come across the stripe this time, we got a new race leader in race 2 for the MSC Formula 5000 Tasman Revival Series. And it's the points leader, the man that qualified fastest. He won race 1 yesterday, and he's in command here, and that is Christchurch's Chris Hyde. Kenny Smith, well, he's not going to give it up without a fight. Tries a slightly different line there just to get a little bit closer to Chris Hyde. There's Hyde holding sway at the moment. Oh, someone's got some problems there coming out of 5. That's caught a few, and it caught a few in the A1GP weekend as well. Hasn't caught Chris Hyde though as he works into turn 6 now, heading up towards the fastest part of the racetrack here at Taupo through turns 7 and 8. There is number 1. This is Aaron Burson in the Talon. This is the ex-Tony Roberts car. Meantime, back at the front, it is still the McRae GM1, car number 5, the Imagine Racing New Zealand designed and built car of Chris Hyde. Second place man is Kenny Smith, and Kenny Smith just getting distance a little bit now. Well, a lot of people say that the McRae's got a little bit more straight out speed than the Lola. But what about the way he's driving it? Chris Hyde doing a fantastic job. As I said, he was only beaten at the last round, and that was by Roger Williams. Roger Williams not here. This is the man in third place. This is 88 Sefton Gibb, brand new to Formula 5000 racing. In fact, stepping into motor racing after a fairly lengthy break. Smith just closing up the gaps as the last lap winds down now. There is the man in third, and it's been a lonely old race for Sefton Gibb out of Napier. Fourth place is Christchurch's Tony Richards, and in fifth it would be car number 1, and that is Aaron Burson. But I think the laps are going to run down, and it's going to blunt Kenny Smith's challenge, because heading down to the big sweeper once again, Chris Hyde. Smith through in second place. There is Aaron Burson right in behind him, Alistair Russell, and then right in behind him it is car number 64, and that's Frank Lyons. So this is a great little scrap going on here for the miners. This is 6th, 7th and 8th place. We go back to the front of the field, and as he works his way down the pit straight, it'll be Chris Hyde that will see the checkered flag first, and it'll extend his points lead here in the MSC Formula 5000 Tasman Revival Series. So Hyde gets the win from the veteran Ken Smith. In third place it is Sefton Gibb, and in fourth place Christchurch's Tony Richards.
Kenny is very good on that exit of that turn 1. It was actually a relief to get him in front of me for the first couple of laps, because I knew that my tyres wouldn't come in for 2 or 3 laps, so I thought good, got something to gauge myself so long as he doesn't run away. And I knew after about 2 or 3 laps that my tyres would come on and it'd start biting in, so exactly what happened. The tyres bit in, and I knew I could get him under brakes and stuff, and out-braked him, so that's good.
Well, this is the third race, the third and final race of the weekend, and this is the Tasman Revival Grand Prix, because it is virtually double the distance of the previous race. And once again, Kenny Smith has a good long look up the outside of Chris Hyde as they work into turn 1, but it's Hyde that goes into the lead. Great start too from Sefton Gibb. Tony Richards up there as well, so too Frank Lyons by the look of it, and Aaron Burson in this hunt as well. Out through 3 and 4 now, it is the McRae GM1 of the points leader, and that is Chris Hyde. He won yesterday's race, he won the first race today, and he's in the front at the moment. Good start there from car number 2, and that is Alistair Russell in the ex-Roger Williams McRae GM1. but it is Hyde in the front. Kenny Smith, well, he's got the added advantage. Before these guys came to the circuit, is the only driver that had done any time on the A1GP circuit, because that's the track they're racing on. This is the track that Johnny Reid and co were racing. Now let's compare lap times. These guys going around here and around about the 124s, 125 mark. The A1GP cars down in the 116s. So you can see they're certainly not outclassed. Into the big sweeper for the first of 12. It is Hyde in the front. Smith in second. Then it is Sefton Gibb out of Napier. They really get to stretch their legs here, getting up to about 180 miles an hour before it's down through the gearbox. Hard on the brakes for this 11, 12 and 13 complex. Been changed this year to make for more passing opportunities for the A1GP cars. Certainly worked for them, and it's working for the 5000s as well. Hyde leads it, Smith in second place. One thing about Ken Smith, he's the title holder 3 times of the New Zealand Grand Prix. He's won in just about every class in New Zealand motor racing, and you can never count him out. He'll be calculating away in that 60-plus-year-old head of his just how he's going to make this pass work. This is a battle further down through the field. Alistair Russell there, just up ahead of him. It is Stan Redmond in the 25, the Lola T332. As we go back to the front now, and Hyde starting to extend his lead. Kenny Smith sitting in second place in number 4. It's the Lola T430 owned by David Abbott. Chris Hyde, he's just showing them all a clean pair of wheels at the moment, just about to put Judy Lyons a lap down. They work their way through the big sweeper. Smith closes up the gap here, and Hyde just slowed a little bit by Judy Lyons. She just moves over in the Dan Eagle designed and built Eagle, 1974 vintage. Great little battles going on further down through the field. Frank Lyons, it's Judy's husband there. Just in behind him is Aaron Burson. One of the father and son combinations here in the Formula 5000 Revival Series. Aaron's father, Peter, in another one of the McRae GM1s, but it's the silver bullet. It is Chris Hyde out on the front, the son of famous New Zealand motor racing identity, Avon. Sefton Gibb getting around Judy Lyons as well, so he moved through into third place. Smith a little bit closer this time round. The Lola T332 of Sefton Gibb goes through in third place. Behind him it'll be Tony Richards, so virtually a replay of what we saw in race number 2, but it's a little bit closer at the front now. Well, I said Kenny Smith would worry this like a dog with a bone, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's putting the pressure on Chris Hyde. Aaron Burson just needs to get a little bit closer in the talon to put pressure on Frank Lyons. Frank making the trip down to New Zealand like he did for the last couple of seasons. Great to see him here. Great to see the Australians here as well. But great to see this fantastic racing. And here's some bad news for Sefton Gibb. He's spun out of third place. Now, can he get that Lola going again? Meantime, down along the back straight, they come once again. You're watching Ken Smith. He's chasing car number 5, and that is Chris Hyde. This is car number 9. This is the big FM4 of Tim Rush. Car's owned by his father, Terry of Rush Hire fame. Right in behind him, it's car 51. This is Peter Burson. And this is going to slow down Chris Hyde just a little bit now. Yellow flag's out, and I wonder if that is for the spin Sefton Gibb. So everyone slows down a bit. No passing under the yellow flag, of course. So normal status quo will be resumed. Peter Burson just trying to get out of the way of a flying Kenny Smith, and we've got a safety car period. Well, it wasn't for Sefton Gibb, because there he is there in the XE and Clements, the championship winning car from last year. That is the Lola T332. So a safety car out, and that means the field will concertina up, and they'll all be behind this man, car number 5, Chris Hyde, ex-Carter, ex-manager and driving instructor at the Canterbury Racing School, done lots and lots of racing, but had a fairly lengthy break and came back into the sport this last couple of seasons. This is his first season in the Formula 5000, and boy oh boy has he made it one to count. Hyde in the front, Smith in second place. Can Kenny Smith get a little bit closer? We wave the green flag, so we're racing again. This one's scheduled to go over 12 laps, and Smith wants a piece of Hyde as they work through turn 1. He'll dive down onto the apex now, but he just can't quite get close enough to make the pass stick. So Chris Hyde lives to fight another day here. Heading out through turn 5. This is the difficult off camber. You've got to get 2 bites at this one. No problem at all for Chris Hyde. Smith through in second place. And Tony Richards up into third place now. We'll have a look at him very shortly. There he is in the black Lola T332. Behind him, it's car number 51. That's Peter Burson. There's Aaron Burson, his son, just going past him. And also number 64, that is Frank Lyons. And there is Sefton Gibb. So Sefton Gibb on a bit of a charge back toward the front of the field here. And he clears Peter Burson with ease as he heads down toward the fastest part of the racetrack here through turns 9 and 10 and then out onto the big sweeper. That's where the race leader is at the moment, this 3.5 kilometre circuit. They're lapping it around about the 125s at the present time. That's certainly the pace of race leader Chris Hyde. Number 2, this is Alistair Russell going a little bit quicker in about the 130s. The ex-Roger Williams, another McRae GM1. Back at the front of the field, though, things getting a little bit interesting now as the laps wind down. And this 12-lapper, Hyde in the front, Smith in second place. Well, I wish I had $1 for every time I've said that right throughout this MSC Tasman Revival Series, because that is the way it's been for quite some time. There is Tony Richards right in behind him. That's Aaron Burson in the Talon. That's the ex-Tony Roberts car. And there is Sefton Gibb having a good long look at Frank Lyons and diving up the inside through turn 1 and getting one spot back. So he is on a charge toward the front of the field, toward this man. But is he going to be able to do it? The lap's winding down here at Taupo. There is Tony Richards, a lonely old race for him at the moment in third. Aaron Burson in fourth. There is Gibb. Now Gibb is trying for all he's worth to get around Aaron Burson. Burson in the Talon, the number 1, the red car. In front of him, it is the third place man, and that's Tony Richards, and he's further up the racetrack. He's pretty comfortable at the moment. And now Gibb has got around Burson, so he's back into third place. It's taken him a couple of laps to do it, but he's back to exactly the same spot he was when he spun. So that's a great drive from Napier's Sefton Gibb. Heading down into the big sweeper, we watch Aaron Burson, just his second full season in the Formula 5000 cars. Behind him, a bit of a collector in England's Frank Lyons. Got about 5 or 6 of these cars and about 3 Formula 1 cars in his stables back home. No change at the front of the field though. Through the last turn and onto the pit straight once again. It is Chris Hyde in the front. Oh, things getting interesting now for third place, and Tim Rush has spun round in the big FM4, and that will be a localised yellow, and Kenny Smith is all over the back of Chris Hyde here on the last lap. Well, he's a charger. He may have his pensioner's card. It doesn't make a difference when he's sitting in the cockpit of a race car. And look at this, Tony Richards now defending for all his worth, because rocketing up to him is Sefton Gibb. This is the battle for third and fourth place. Through turns 6 and 7 they come now, heading towards the fastest part of the circuit here at Taupo. Meantime, back with the race leader, Hyde holding on. Down into the sweeper for the last time. Listen to that wonderful exhaust note. These cars running around about 600 horsepower. Going as quick as they ever did in their heyday, and once again Judy Lyons just does the sensible thing and moves over for the fast boys. Are we going to see the last of the late breakers from Ken Smith? He's just not quite close enough. Now he gathers it up a little bit closer through turn 12, through 13, and down onto the front straight they come. It's going to be Hyde, but Smith is going to push them all the way, and across the line they go. Third place man, is it going to be number 88? It is. Sefton Gibbs got in front of Tony Richards, so what a drive from the man from Napier. He'll get third. Richards will come across the line in fourth place, and behind him it will be Aaron Burson. So Chris Hyde wins another one here in race 3 of the Formula 5000s.
We are desperate for some rallying for this show, so we reached out and we found the 1997 Maramarua Rally. But it isn't a TV show, so just enjoy 5 minutes of pure sound and flying gravel. No voice, no music, just cars. Well, that's it for Retro Motorsport this week. Thanks again for watching. See you next week.
You'd have to say as we're back on board with the circuit here at Pyra. Here's the race leaders. Oh, and there are all sorts of problems.
Oh, big carnage. Oh, straight to the barrier.